All right, welcome back to another episode of Guitar Fundamentals on the Road. I'm currently at the Grand Canyon, but today's lesson is actually inspired by my travels in my RV through Memphis, Tennessee, Graceland. We had all the intentions of going to Graceland, but it just didn't work out. And I kept on listening to Graceland by Paul Simon on the radio in the truck. And there's a good lesson to be had by studying what was going on in the song Graceland. Really catchy tune. And so I want to show you how you can take song ideas that are in your infantile stages and make them better. And let me explain why. When I love Paul Simon's songwriting, and when you listen to Paul Simon's songwriting, believe it or not, some of his like catchiest tunes, you can hear this kind of like bluesy influence, you know, Kodachrome, Late in the Evening, stuff like that. When you listen to Graceland, you know, it's really dressed up with all these different instruments, but when you listen to the chord progression and you really look at it, you can see, pardon my hair, you can see how it was influenced by a 12-bar blues. And this lesson is, you know, started off my mind about talking about Graceland, but we're going to use Graceland to show you how you can add more color to your songs quite easily with a little bit of knowledge. So when you look at the chord progression of Graceland, which influenced this lesson, it's E, hoping the wind is not too bad, to the A, and then instead of going, then it goes to the C sharp minor, I'll say, C sharp minor, and then B, and then a quick A, and back to E for a second. Now, I just want to talk about that part. When you look at that part, it looks like, oh, it's a 1, 4, 6, 5. But for some reason, something caught my attention because, again, it's Paul Simon. He writes these catchy blues tunes. And all of a sudden I realized, hey, I think Graceland started off as a 12-bar blues type song, acoustic, influence, you know, 1, 4, 5, 1, that type of thing. But as he sang through it, I could be wrong, Paul, if you're watching this, let me know. I'd love to talk to you. I think he started to dress it up. And how do you dress it up? Well, I'll show you. If you took a 12-bar blues or a standard like 1-4-5 progression, don't mind the giant fly, always in these videos, huh? All right, so you can be E, then A, then back to E, and then a B, and an A, and an E. Fly is huge. Get out of here. All right. But that's not what Paul Simon does. He does the E, he does the A. And instead of going back to the E, he goes to a C sharp minor. And right here is really where the lesson begins. Why C sharp minor? Well, if you look at a key, bless you. If you look at a key, you have in the key of E, you have E is the 1, F sharp minor is the 2, G sharp minor is the 3, A is the 4, B is the 5, C sharp minor is the 6, and D sharp minor 7 flat 5 would be the 7, but also a B7 is a good substitute, and that'll be located in the video over here. But when you really look at it, this is what's really cool. Now check this out, stay with me. The 1 chord, the relative minor of the 1 chord is always the 6 chord. The 4 chord, which is major, the relative minor of the 4 chord is always the 2 chord. The 5 chord, the relative minor of the 5 chord is always the 3 chord. And so, instead of playing a 12-bar blues, now I'm not going to play the standard like shuffle, but listen to a 12-bar blues in E. Like if I was kind of doing a Graceland version of a 12-bar blues, like. It's a little short on that E, but okay. Now that's a 1-4-5. I said 12-bar blues, but really 1-4-5 inspired progression. But let's say Paul Simon said, man, that sounds so much like all my other bluesy songs. How do I get away from that? Well, instead of going 1-4-1, he went 1-4, and instead of the 1, he went to its relative minor. And then we get the Graceland sound. Da, 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 again, it looks like a 1-6-4-5, but really I think it was really a 1-4-1-5 that Paul Simon kind of said, you know what, got to spice this up. And so let's say that is a situation. How do you spice up your songs? Well, if you have songs and you have lyrics and you've written a lot of 1, 4, and 5 stuff, you can break away with that by choosing any one of those 1s, 4s, and 5s and substituting it for its relative minor. So let me show you. Say if a song goes E to A to E to A. Well, if you want to make it a little bit more dressier, let's take that A chord, which is the 4. The relative minor is the 2. So I can sit and I can play 1, 4, 1, 2. And you can hear it sounds different. It's close. Relative major and relative minor chords share 2 notes together. And so the one note that changes really kind of dramatically kind of like affects the sound of the song. Say I have a song that's 1, 4, 5, and I don't want to play that twice in a row. Well, I'll play 1, 4, 5, and we'll play 1, 4, and the 5, the relative minor of the 5 is always the 3 chord. So let's see what that sounds like. But it is different. And so if you want to practice this stuff with me, taking different 1, 4, and 5 blues progressions and learning how to solidify those relative major and relative minor, chord relationships to make your songs a little bit different from a standard blues, join me on Patreon. A very, very quick lesson. Remember, if you have a 1 chord, you can substitute it with a 6. If you have a 4 chord, you can substitute it with a 2. If you have a 5 chord, you can substitute it with a 3. And it works backwards. If you have a 3 chord, you can substitute it with a 5. And we'll talk about all that stuff on Patreon. Quick lesson from the Grand Canyon, inspired by Paul Simon in Graceland. And that's pretty much it. See you soon. Bye-bye.